Good morning. I am Lavanya, working as Associate Professor in the Department of ECE from Ramchandra College of Engineering, Elur. Today, we are going to discuss about basics of operational amplifiers from Linear IC Applications course. So, these are the contents that we are going to discuss in this presentation. The first one is difference between ordinary circuit and integrated circuit. So first we will see what is the difference between a simple ordinary circuit and integrated circuit, which is IC. And we go for classification of ICs, then IC chip size and circuit complexity. Next, types of IC packages. Next, what are the different temperature ranges that has been used for ICs. Next, power supply connections, symbol and equivalent circuit of an op-amp. So these are the 7 topics that we are going to present in this video. First, we go for what is the difference between ordinary circuit as well as integrated circuit. So here we have shown the difference, 4 differences between ordinary circuit and the integrated circuit. So ordinary circuit is nothing but it is also called as a discrete circuit. Ordinary circuit or a simple circuit, you are representing it as discrete circuit, which is constructed of components that are manufactured separately. So in this ordinary circuits, we are using or we are connecting different components by using connected wires on a simple circuit board or a printed circuit board. So ordinary circuit means it is a circuit where all the different components are connected together by using connected wires on a circuit board or a printed circuit board. Whereas integrated circuit is defined as this is circuit made of transistors and other components that are etched onto a single semiconductor substrate. So these are all connected on a single semiconductor substrate. Generally we will be using silicon. The next one is here, assembling and wiring of all individual discrete components take more time and occupies larger space required. So here, as we are using assembling and wiring of individual components separately on a board, the time taken for this will be more and space occupied will also be more. So which shows that circuit will be large in size. Whereas in integrated circuit, since all the components are fabricated on a single semiconductor substrate, the size of the circuit will be small, and it is just shown here. Practically around 20,000 electronic components can be placed in a single chip. Next, third point is the elements are connected using soldering process so that they may cause less reliability. So as we are using, so in order to join this components permanently, we are going to use soldering process. So because of this soldering process, the heat generated by the soldering gun, it causes damaging of components. So it shows that the circuit or the components having less reliability. Whereas in ICs, they are having, as they are already fixed or fabricated on a single chip, the reliability of components can be high, and it doesn't require more number of connections. So we are telling that here it consists of less number of connections, and the power consumption will be more in ordinary circuit. The power consumption will be more as number of, that is heat dissipation will be more. The power consumption will also be more. Hence, overall cost of the circuit will be more. Whereas in this integrated circuit, the power consumption will be less and cost of the circuit will also be less. Because of all these advantages, the cost of the circuit will go less compared to the ordinary circuit. Hence, these are the points or the advantages that we are going to consider why we are going for integrated circuit compared to the ordinary circuit. The only drawback in these circuits are whenever a component is lost, any one of the component in the IC is lost, complete IC has to be replaced in the integrated circuit. Whereas in ordinary circuit, the particular component will be replaced. And that is the drawback here in integrated circuit we have. So this is the difference between ordinary circuit as well as integrated circuit. Next, we go for classification of ICs. So classification of ICs, we are classifying ICs in terms of many things based on application oriented, next fabrication techniques, based on technology, and based on device count. So first we will see what is based on application. So ICs are classified into two types based on the applications. First one is linear IC and second one is digital IC. This we have already discussed in the unit 1. Next, based on fabrication techniques, they are divided into two types of ICs, monolithic IC and hybrid ICs. So generally we will be preferring monolithic ICs at our level. And based on technology, this is divided into three types actually. And from that we have taken BJT, bipolar junction transistors, and MOSFET or metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. And based on device count, we have 5 different types of ICs, IC integration technologies, that is small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration, very large scale integration, and ultra large scale integration. So these are the classification of ICs. So based on application, linear ICs and digital ICs has been discussed in unit 1 itself. Now based on fabrication techniques, we are going to discuss this monolithic ICs in the coming chapters. And based on technology, we will be discussing in this presentation. Also based on device count, this classification is also being discussed in this presentation. Next we go for IC chip size and circuit complexity. So as we have discussed in the classification that based on device components, here we can include this level of integration with number of components that has been used for one chip. So first one we have seen is small scale integration, that is SSI technology. So in this small scale integration, less than 100 number of components is accommodated in a single chip. Here it is less than 100 components. Whereas in medium scale integration, 100 to 10,000 components has been accommodated in a single chip. Whereas large scale integration, 1,000 to 1 lakh components has been accommodated in a single chip. Whereas very large scale integration, over 1 lakh components has been accommodated in a single chip. In ultra large scale integration, this is ULSI, ultra large scale integration, over 1 million components has been accommodated in a single chip. So at present in our BTech level, we are going to discuss about this VLSI technology. Till here we are going to discuss. In further studies or in PGs, we are going to study about ultra large scale integration and so on. So this is about chip size. The chip size is mentioned as in level of integration, and circuit complexity is shown in terms of number of devices per chip. Next, types of IC packages. So types of IC packages you will be having majorly 3 types. First one is metal can package, second one is dual inline package, and third one is flat top package. So metal can package will be in a circular mode where you can have 8 pin. So metal can package is available mostly in terms of 8 pins. So in short, we are representing it as TIVO. Dual inline package will be from 8 pin. It is available in terms of 8 pin. Next 10 pin. Next 14 pin. Also 16 pin. So these are the different pin configurations that is available in dual inline package. Whereas last one is flat top. Here also we can have 10 pin, Also, you'll be having 14 pin and 16 pin ICs. So these are the basic IC packages that are available in IC technology. So selection of IC packages. As we have shown, three different types of IC packages. First one is metal can IC. Next is dual inline or DIP package. The last one is flat top package. Among these three IC packages, based on the some factors, we are going to select the IC package. So metal can package has a process, that is, while selecting this metal can package, we have to consider whenever heat dissipation is important. So this type of metal can packages are considered when heat dissipation is important and also used for high power applications like power amplifiers. So this type of IC packages are used whenever high power applications are required, also heat dissipation is important. Because of these factors, that means whenever we require these factors, then we go for metal can IC packages. Next one is dual inline package. So this type of packages are used for experimental or breadboarding purpose as easy to use. So this is easy to connect and it is easy to use. Hence this type of packages are used for experimental or breadboarding. That means for educational purpose. So in laboratories, we are going to use this dual inline type of packages. And this is suitable for PCBs as lead spacing is more. So these lead terminals are long, lengthy. It will be easy to solder on PCBs. Hence, this is also used for application purpose. Whereas ceramic flat type ICs are used because of its more reliable and less in weight, and it is suitable for airborne applications. So it is maximum it is used for industrial purpose. So in academic sites, that means in for studies or for laboratory purpose, we will be using dual inline package, and whereas this industrial purpose, we will be going for airborne applications. Sorry, this is a flat package IC technologies. So this is about the different types of ICs based on IC packages or the technology. Next, the temperature ranges that was used for different applications of these ICs. So here we are describing it for three applications. The type of application is, first one is military applications. So whenever the ICs are used under this military application, the temperature range required to be used is minus 55 degrees Celsius to plus 125 degrees Celsius, or you can take minus 55 degrees Celsius to 125 degrees Celsius. For industrial purpose, it will be minus 20 degrees Celsius to plus 85 degrees Celsius, or minus 40 degrees Celsius to plus 85 degrees Celsius. Next, for commercial purpose, 0 degrees to plus 70 degrees Celsius, or 0 degrees to plus 75 degrees Celsius. So these are the different temperature ranges that has been chosen for different applications. So among these three applications, military grade devices are always superior. So this type of military applications are mostly considered. These are always considered and are superior, whereas commercial types are cheapest and they have less tolerance. So if at all the device is lost, we have to replace the complete component always. So this is the worst tolerance, but hence it is cheapest. It can be used for commercial applications. So this is about the temperature ranges of ICs and that are used for different applications. Next, we go for the power supply connections. So how power supply has been connected in IC. So whenever we are using op-amp in practical purpose, so how to connect these power supply connections. So if you see the symbol of op-amp, you will be having two power supplies. One is minus VEE and the other one is plus VCC. So how to connect this plus VCC and minus VEE? in the laboratories. So that is, if we consider this one, or you can take it directly, the positive terminal of the positive power supply of the op amp is connected to the positive terminal of one supply, and negative supply, that is minus VEE terminal, minus terminal is connected to the negative of the other supply. Whereas negative terminal of first supply, say suppose this is V1 and this is V2. So positive terminal of V1 is to be connected to plus VCC of op amp, and minus terminal or negative terminal of V2 is to be connected to minus VE of the op amp, and negative terminal of V1, positive terminal of V2 are connected or tied up together, and it is grounded. So this is generally whatever you are connecting in power supply, in laboratories, practical purposes. And we have to see here whether this is a balanced or unbalanced power supplies. So if it is a balanced power supply, then both the supplies will be in equal in magnitude. That is, plus VCC and minus VE will be in same values but opposite in polarities. Whereas if it is unbalanced power supply, then the values of power supply will be varied. If it is 15 volts and it will be 12 volts, or you can consider any numbers. If it is 9 volts, it can be a 12 volts also. So we have, this is the standard 15 volts, we will be using standard one. Apart from this, you are having another voltages like 9 volts, 12 volts, 22 volts, 18 volts, 30 volts, like this. So these are the power supplies that we have used. So in order to connect this op amp, we require dual power supply. You can use single power supply also, but the connection will be different. But generally we will be using this dual power supply. Next, the symbol and equivalent circuit of an op amp. Symbol and equivalent circuit of an op amp. So we have already seen what is the symbol of an op amp. Here you will be having 5 terminals, 2 input terminals, one is non-inverting input and the other one is inverting input, and 2 power supplies, one is positive supply and the other one is negative supply, and 1 output terminal. If you connect this with the pin configuration, you will be having, this is 3rd pin and this is 2nd pin, this is 4, this is 7 and this is 6th pin. So if you consider, this is the symbol of op amp. So whenever we are using this in practical purpose, internally it will be the structure of op amp will be like this. So this we call it as equivalent circuit of an op amp. So internally, this is the symbol what you are showing outside of this rectangular box. So you will be having internally one input resistance between these 2 terminals, which is marked as Rin, whereas output terminal is connected with the output resistance R0 with a voltage source VOL, or you can consider this as VD into AOL. AOL represents the open loop gain. The difference between these 2 voltages is represented as VD, that is differential input voltage, which is equal to V2 minus V1, or you can represent it as V1 minus V2 also. So the output is taken directly with V0 is equal to A into VD, where A represents the differential gain and VD represents the differential input voltage. So this is the equivalent circuit of the op amp. So these are the different topics, or the basic topics that we have to discuss regarding this op amp. So this will be asked, all these questions will be asked for short answer type questions. So what are the questions that we have to discuss, we will see in next slide. So first thing, the difference, what is the difference between ordinary circuit and the integrated circuit? It will be asked for 4 marks. And what is the classification of ICs? So in order to cover these 4 marks, at least we have to mention 4 points, each for ordinary circuit and integrated circuit as well. The second question is classification of ICs. this classification of ICs can be mentioned as a chart or step-by-step procedure also. So it carries only 2 marks. It will be asked for 2 marks or 3 marks. And next question is, write about IC chip size and circuit complexity. So this you need not to elaborate anything. Just you make a table with the IC chip size and the complexity. So how many components has to be accommodated in a single chip, and different IC technologies, that is SSI, LSI, MSI, all these things. And what are the types of IC packages? So IC packages means you will be having 3 IC packages. They are metal can, dual inline package, and flat top package. So you have to mention the 3 things, that is at what conditions you are going to use all the 3 IC types. Generally you will be using for dual inline package. So if you write the answer, you will be getting 3 marks. Next, list out temperature ranges of IC applications. This is direct question. If you just mention 3 different applications like military, industrial, and commercial purpose. So if you write the 3 applications along with temperature ranges, it is sufficient. They will give 3 marks for this question. And tell about power supply connections in the op-amp. So you just to draw the circuit diagram of power supply, how we are going to give that are connected to the operational amplifier symbol. If we show the circuit and if you write 2 points, that is more than enough for 3 marks question. And draw the symbol and equivalent circuit of an op-amp. This will be asked for 4 marks. The symbol carries 1 mark and the equivalent circuit of an op-amp will take 3 marks. So this is all about the assignment questions, or the questions that will be asked from these topics. So all these topics covers the short answer type questions only. Thank you.